So on today's episode of the podcast, you're going to learn about how to make your customer service department a profit center through segmentation, automation, and human relationships. It's a great episode you don't want to miss, so do stay tuned. Hi guys, welcome to the 2x e-commerce podcast show. Now, this episode you're about to listen to was an interview I had with Louis Lavidon, who is the partner manager for Gorgias, the customer experience e-commerce platform in Europe. I found it very, very interesting, and here's why you should listen to it. My remit to him prior to our call was that customer experience is boring for most. In fact, it's a headache. Most founders want to get out of the customer experience phase as quickly as possible and just give it to someone else to manage. But my remit to him was like, how can we make it one, sexy, and two, how can we make it a profit center? And he was like, well, that's what Gorgias is as a platform in itself. And he spoke on three major fronts, which I found really, really fascinating. One was the personalization or segmentation bit of Gorgias, which many customer service platforms have not done particularly well. The second was more around like machine learning, and he said even Gorgias isn't perfect with the machine learning bit. They're constantly improving. They talked about like having, a few members of staff at Gorgias. I think there are like 5 or 7 members at the machine learning section that are constantly churning out sentiment analysis and trying to just make automation was what he said, making automation of customer service as frictionless as possible. And then the third was the last thing we all cannot sort of run away from, which is like the human connection, the human emotion, because it is the pretty much front center of your brand. So essentially, it was a very interesting conversation if you want to get a fresh perspective on customer experience and customer service in general, post-purchase customer experience, and how it can and how it should actually propel sales longer term, make customers happy. So pursuing happiness, customer happiness, and getting them to come again and again and again. Before you listen to this episode, there's going to be a roll call from our sponsors, Klaviyo, Rewind, and Famous. Klaviyo, email, best e-commerce email platform on the planet. Rewind is pretty much the number one and the best backup solution for Shopify, BigCommerce, and I think QuickBooks. And Famous is the best page builder for creating like mobile experiences, basically superior mobile experiences, which in turn improves conversions. So enjoy this episode. Let me know what you think. There'll be more announcements coming on this podcast. The YouTube channel content is coming up real good now. I'm going to be putting out YouTube content on a regular basis, on a weekly basis. So that's another one for you to just jump in and sign up to. But I will leave you guys now. Enjoy this conversation I had with Louis, not Louis, Louis Lavidon. I love his name, Louis Lavidon. Enjoy this episode. I'll catch you on the other side on the next show. Cheers. Welcome to the 2x e-commerce podcast, guys. This is the podcast dedicated to rapid growth in online retail. Now, on this podcast, we interview founders, marketers, elite marketers, and representatives from best-in-class e-commerce platforms to share their knowledge to help you just improve growth metrics such as conversions, average order value, repeat customers, your audience size, and ultimately sales. Now, on today's episode, I'm joined by Louis Lavidon. He is the strategic partner for Europe and the Middle East in Gorgias. Now, Gorgias, if you don't know what Gorgias is, it's a customer experience platform that has scaled quite rapidly over the past 2 years or so in existence. They're based out in Paris, in France, and they currently power 2,500 businesses such as Kokai, Tim Box, Steve Maiden, MVMT Movement Watches, and the like. So when it comes to customer service for e-commerce, essentially, their platform is a best-in-class platform. And today, we just want to talk about everything customer experience and customer service. Now, it may not sound like a sexy topic, but it is an absolute growth lever in e-commerce, and it helps, one major thing, and that's your retention. So without further ado, I'd like to give a warm welcome to Louis. Welcome, Louis.
Hi, everybody. So thank you so much for having me today. Maybe to introduce me again. So my name is Louis. I started at Gorgias 10 months ago. I've been working in the e-commerce ecosystem for 3 years and a half now, because I used to work at Nosto before as partner manager,
Okay.
like a personalization and recommendation solution for e-commerce.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, 2020 was a big year at Gorgias, because when I started at Gorgias, we were between 25 and 30 people worldwide with 1,500 clients. And now we are 120 worldwide between San Francisco, Toronto, New York, Paris, Sydney, and we have other offices. And now we have 5,500 clients. And today, if you take all of our clients, 100% of them are merchants on Shopify, Magento 2, and we just launched our integration with BigCommerce.
It's incredible. It's 5,000, not 4,000, not 2,500. I beg your pardon. Okay. So it's quite interesting, when you started with like about 25 people, how has culture changed with two things: the rapid growth in Gorgias, number one, and also with COVID, with remote working. How are you coping out in Gorgias?
It's a very interesting question, because I started at Gorgias 2 days after the French lockdown. So it was 2 days after. And basically at Gorgias, I was lucky because my manager was my manager like 5 years ago when I did an internship in Toronto. So I already had a very good relationship with Philippe Poirot, who is based in Toronto. And yeah, basically it was very interesting, because when I started at Gorgias, Europe was still a small market, and because we were founded in San Francisco by two French co-founders, so North America was our first market. But now the mission was to develop the European market and the APAC market. And for Europe, basically, I'm partner manager, so my role is to meet people. And I was partner manager in France before, so I already had some relationship, but it was for sure more complicated to create human relationships with partners in the UK, in the Nordics, in Germany, because I was not able to move. So it was challenging, but I think in 2 or 3 days after the lockdown, everybody was like, okay, what's going to happen? Maybe it's going to be complicated for everybody. And then 3 weeks after, in terms of customer requests for our clients, it was almost Black Friday every day. Because it was not possible for people to buy physically. They had to buy online. So, and yes, I think that's one of the main reasons why we had a big growth at Gorgias, because there is an increasing, people are now much more comfortable with e-commerce. And if they are much more comfortable, they're going to ask a lot of questions. And it's very funny, because at the beginning you said customer service is not when you hear customer service is not a sexy topic. And it's interesting because for sure, if you think that customer service is only about shipping status, cancellation, and refund, for sure it's not a sexy topic. But now customer service is not only about only these three questions. It's also about how you're going to sell your product, how you're going to interact with your audience on social media, TikTok, Facebook, Messenger, chat, how you're going to find the right mix between automation and a human relationship with your audience.
No, you've touched on some very important, points, and I'm going to flesh it out in this interview, because one was the social media, just manning people on social media, and I was going to ask you, well, we'll talk about it. I'm going to push that on the side just a little bit and ask that, and this is a very, very interesting question for both what's happening in Gorgias and also for e-commerce businesses. So when the lockdown occurred, when you had the lockdown, happen, and you said every day was Black Friday, right? What did you need to grow the team at Gorgias, the customer experience team, to cater for the increasing crazy demand from merchants you are onboarding? And if you did, how did you sort of ensure that customer service, your customer service, staff or team were equipped enough to solve your clients' problems? Because if that's the case, the learnings that listeners to this episode can take away for their e-commerce businesses.
It's also a very funny question, because when I started at Gorgias, I was partner manager for Europe, but also I had to be account executive and customer success manager for the French market, because we didn't have any customer success manager who knew how to speak French. And sometimes for the French market, it's important to have like a French person to speak with clients. And I think at Gorgias, we are lucky because we have a lot of flexible people. So basically, when we were only 25, 30, basically, for sure, we had an increasing number of clients, and it was not possible to just focus on my role of partner manager. So sometimes I was account executive, sometimes I was customer success manager. So at the beginning, it was okay. And for sure, at one point, it was very important to structure the team. And that's why now we have Natalia, our head of customer success. And basically, in a few months now, I think the customer success support team is one of the biggest team at Gorgias. And what is important is to structure this team, because basically at Gorgias, we have the support team, the activation team, and the success team. So the support team is just to ask all the easy questions in a certain way, because if you are connected with Gorgias, you have a chat. This way, every time you're going to have a question, you just need to send your question and we will come back to you in a few hours. Then the activation team. So for example, Emna, who is based in Paris. So her mission is to activate all the new clients, to onboard them. And then the success team. This way, if in 1 month, 2 months, you want to add some automation, you want to improve your Gorgias account, you're going to have a conversation with the success team. And I think, like when I started at Gorgias, we didn't have all this team in the success team. And I was impressed because like in a few months, we found like a very flexible and smart people. And we found like a very good process to make sure our clients are up and running in a few days. Because today, I think, so if we take our 5,500 clients, 90% of them are on Shopify. So the integration is plug and play. So it takes 10 minutes to connect Gorgias to Shopify and your communication channels, email, live chat, Facebook, Messenger. But it's a new technology. So even if it's plug and play, it's very easy to understand. There are a lot of different ways to set up your Gorgias account. So what is important is to find empathic people to create the relationship with our new clients and to make sure they are up and running in a few days. Because I'm not going to share some names now, but basically we have a lot of clients who migrated from competitors to Gorgias. And basically they made the migration because every time they had a question, they had to send an email. Then 2 days after, maybe they're going to come back to you. No, it's not the good pricing. So if you want to have an answer, you have to upgrade. I think today merchants are fed up with this kind of strategy. Basically, even if you are a small or a big client, you have a lot of questions, and we have to be.
Let's take a quick break to hear from our sponsors. Did you know that cloud-hosted e-commerce platforms like Shopify and BigCommerce do not provide automatic backups? Rewind steps in to protect Shopify and BigCommerce stores with automatic backups. Rewind is trusted by over 25,000 stores. Install Rewind and get to test it for free over 7 days. And to extend the 7-day trial to 30 days, head over to rewind.io, their website, and mention 2x eCommerce.
Reactive with all our clients.
Makes sense. Makes a lot of sense. So when you say you're reactive, does that mean that you're available on chat, as in it's like a near instant response to your customers? How does that translate as compared to the incumbent?
So basically, if you have a Gorgias account, you're going to have a small chat. And if one day you are like, okay, I would like to automate these questions, I would like to automate the tagging of these messages, and you don't really know how to do this, you can ask your question in the chat. And we have a support team in Europe, in Asia, everywhere. So we're going to be able to be very reactive with our clients. And it's important to be fair, to be reactive with all your clients, because basically when you buy online, you are on a website, you don't know if this website is a big website or a small website, but you want the customer service to be the same. Yeah. I'm on your website, I'm about to add a credit card, I have a question now. I'm not going to say, okay, it's a small website, so if the customer service is not very good, it's okay. No, you are a client. I have question now, I'm ready to add my credit card. So yes, I want some reactivity on your hand. And that's why at Gorgias, we are trying to give the best support to all of our clients.
Makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense. So in 2020, from what you saw in 2020, because you with Gorgias, you have several channels. You could activate Messenger, you could activate, your on-site chat, you could activate email. There's several channels. Could you sort of break down the channels available on Gorgias, please?
So you have the integration with Shopify, Magento, or eCommerce, and then for the communication channel, you're going to have email, live chat, the chatbot soon. So we're going to have our own chatbot soon, Messenger, Facebook post and ads, and Instagram post and ads. And we are currently working on other integrations such as WhatsApp, Twitter, etc. Because basically today, what is important for a customer service team is to be everywhere. Because let's imagine you have a question, so you're going to send an email, then you don't have any answer, so you're going to ask your question on social media or on the live chat. If you have two agents to answer the same questions, so first, maybe you're going to have two different answers, so it's a very bad experience for your clients, and it's a waste of time for your business. So I think today what is important is to gather everything in one single platform, because if you have one platform for Messenger, one platform for the chat, at the end, it's a nightmare. And I think that's what realized a lot of merchants in March 2020, because a lot of merchants had like one application by communication channel. And at the end of the day, it was like a nightmare to handle with hundreds and hundreds of customer requests every day.
So with the pandemic and the acceleration of e-commerce in 2020, which of the communication channels has been the busiest?
So
for e-commerce businesses?
It's funny because when we talk about communication channel, for example, live chat is a very hot topic. Social media is a very hot topic as well. But basically today, if we take all of our clients, email remains the first communication channel. So with email, it's you don't have to be as reactive as you must be for the chat or for social media, but it's very important to have a very strong strategy with your emails. So the first step is to segment all your emails by topics: shipping status, cancellation, refund, product, problem, etc., and by language. This way you can auto assign all the customer requests to the good team. And I think live chat today is also a very good communication channel during the pandemic, because today people are not able to buy physically. So basically, let's imagine it's Christmas is in 3 weeks. I'm going to buy online. I'm on your website. Okay, I like this product, but I don't understand the pricing. I'm not sure when I'm gonna receive your product. So I have question now. I'm on your website. So thanks to the chat, you can have your answers now. But live chat is a very good communication channel, but it's very important to have a very strong strategy behind, because if you don't have the bandwidth to have a live chat, it's going to be a very bad experience for your clients and merchants.
Yeah. So with the segmentation for emails, does Gorgias sort of filter that out, or do you get the customer to sort of select the kind of question they have? How does the segmentation occur?
So we can do better because at Gorgias, we have a machine learning team. We have 5 people in our machine learning team, and we developed a tool to analyze all the topics of the messages we receive. So if it's about shipping status, if it's about cancellation, etc., our machine learning will tag this message as an email about shipping status. And this way, we're going to be able to put this message in the good category. And in addition to that, at Gorgias, we can take all the Shopify and Magento information to segment your customer request. Let's imagine you want to tag your VIP clients. So you're going to set up what we call a rule. So when this client spends for more than £1,000 or euros on your website, or if this client spend more than 5 times on your website, tag this ticket as a VIP ticket and auto-assign the agents called Louis. This way, you can be maybe much more reactive with your VIP client. You know they are VIP, so maybe you're going to send them a discount for their next order. So yeah, I think what is important today, every time you're going to receive a customer request, is to have all the information about this client now, and to segment your customer service team between different topics in a certain way. Let's imagine you have a small team. Maybe you just have 2 agents in your customer service team. Maybe you can split your team between pre-purchase and post-purchase questions.
Yeah, makes sense. You make them really specialist in each, in pre and post. That makes a lot of sense. What about old-fashioned telephones?
It's a very good question as well, because at Gorgias we have integration with a lot of phone solution, and we're going to launch our own phone native solution in the next few months. Because basically today, phone is not an old way to communicate with your clients, because sometimes I have a lot of questions. Your website maybe is not very clear. You don't have any live chat. So you're going to take the phone. And as always, when you have, so at Gorgias, thanks to our integration with phone solution, every time you're going to receive a call, we're going to be able to match the phone number with Shopify. This way, when you have a conversation with someone, you're like, okay, nice. So I know you. Did you like this product? Yes, I saw you had a question about this. And basically, I have a call with you, and you already know me. Basically, I'm like, okay, I feel special.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel special.
Exactly.
And I think today what is important for your clients is to make them feel they are special for you. It's not like a random client. It's and it's very important, because today the competition is very fierce. Because if I have a bad experience with your website, I just need to Google the product and to find a competitor or another product on another website. If I have a good relationship with a website, basically they know me. So every time I'm going to have a similar purchase, I'm going to come back to this website.
Yeah. I think that personalization bit is so important on the phone, and having that context of who you're talking to. And it just makes them, imagine I call, and the rep already knows everything about what I've done. It saves me a lot of time trying to explain many things. Oh, I bought this blue pair of jeans, the other day, and it was at this time. You already know. So like, are you talking about the blue jeans you bought? Your last order, which you made on Thursday. Okay, and then they're like, okay, wow, yes, it is. This is the issue I'm having. So it really pushes that conversation and makes them feel special, which is super important. And also, like on Amazon, I've seen there's a call me back button. So when you're in the customer service, and first of all, they try and hide it, as much as possible. But when you eventually get there for telephone, it's like, do you want to call us, or would you rather us call you? And when you click on call me, within a minute your phone is ringing, and they don't put you on hold. You're speaking to a rep, which I find really helpful. Okay.
And it's very interesting you talk about Amazon because today, to me, there is a not.
Let's take a quick break to hear from our sponsors. Klaviyo is a growth marketing platform that powers over 25,000 online businesses. Klaviyo understands every single customer interaction and empowers brands to create more personalized marketing moments. Listen, analyze, and act on your customer data with Klaviyo. Visit klaviyo.com/2x.
Fight, but a competition between Amazon, the first e-commerce website in the world, and the other merchants. Yeah. And today, even if people are aware of that, basically, when it's about customer service, you won't have the same customer service with Amazon. Yeah. The same customer service with Amazon and the other websites. So the goal of Gorgias is to help you to do to create like a premium customer service team for your business. Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. I also wanted to talk about staff. You know, your customer experience staff. You know, the people who actually man your the pretty much the front line of your business. The question I wanted to ask is shifts. You know, do you have any best practices for the optimal shift time for them so they don't burn out? Because the worst thing you want is somebody who's tired on the other end, wants to go home or wants to have a rest, and they're burdened with problems, and so you don't get the best out of them. So what is kind of like the threshold of treating your customer service staff well so they treat your customers well? So basically, I think the most important thing is segmentation, because basically sometimes I was customer success manager for some of our French clients, and basically at the beginning they want to automate a lot of things. Before talking about automation, we need to talk about segmentation, because basically at Gorgias we have a flexible tool. We can do like a lot of things, and you know your business, so you know your customer request, you know how to split your customer request. And I think it's the first chapter of your customer service story. It's how I'm going to split my customer requests by topics, by language, by communication channels, etc. Then in 1, 2, or 3 months, when you have a good understanding of your segmentation, we're going to be able to talk about automation. Maybe before, because maybe you can talk about automation directly, but sometimes it's important to focus on segmentation and then automation. And I think automation is a very interesting. Automation is very interesting, but you have to find the good mix between automation and human relationship. Because as you might know it, today a lot of people are just locked in their places, and a lot of people are looking for a human relationship, even if you buy online. So now what's going to be important is, as soon as you have a good understanding of your segmentation, of your audience, of your prospect and clients, you're going to be able to automate a lot of repetitive questions, such as, where is my order? I would like to cancel this. And this way you can spend much more time on pre-purchase questions. Basically, I have a question about this product. Can you give me more information about the delivery time? Or I would like to buy this for my mother, but do you have maybe other options, etc. So yes, to sum up, first step is segmentation. It's very classic, but very important. And then after segmentation, automation. This way you can decrease resolution time on all the repetitive questions and spend much more time on product related questions. Are you seeing like, in terms of like the shifts, are you seeing like, there's some global e-commerce businesses, for instance, I've been involved in a global e-commerce business, and what we had to do was we had to create 3 shifts. We split out the day in 3, and then and then we put in 2, sometimes 2, 1 person, to just man out the days. It was like 8 hours. Do you think 8 hours is too much for like a rep to be at their desk? Or would you say it's 6 hours?
what's optimal for them, for the rep, themselves, so, or the the customer success manager, so they give the job their best?
It's a complicated question to answer, because basically it depends if you are a small or a big website. Because if you are a startup and if you just have one person in your customer service team, you don't have other choice, and that's why it's important to be flexible in your team. Because sometimes I have conversation with small merchants and entrepreneurs, and sometimes the entrepreneurs, the founder, will also be in charge of the customer service for some other clients. But basically, yes, if you want to be, what is important today for a customer service team is to be empathic with their clients and prospects, and to be very reactive and sometimes proactive. So for sure, you need to find like empathic people, like friendly people that are very that are strong to create human relationship with the clients. And basically, in after 6 hours, you're gonna be tired for sure. Yeah,
Exactly.
you're gonna be tired for sure. But it's I don't have like a, because it's gonna depend on your business or on your sales cycle, on a lot of things. And if you have, basically, if you have like a big team, because basically at Gorgias we have support team everywhere in the world. So if for our clients in Australia, in the US, in Europe, we can be reactive with everybody. But if you are a startup, if you just have an office, I don't know, in San Francisco, and one customer success manager in San Francisco, for sure it's going to be complicated to be reactive with clients based in I don't know, in Asia, in Singapore, etc. But yeah,
you just have to adapt, really. It all depends. It's
what is important is to be flexible, I think. And yes, as again, if I take my own example, so at one point I was a partner manager for Europe, but I was also the only customer success, the customer facing people in Europe. So I had to be a customer success manager for some clients. So I think what is important when you are a startup, when you are growing, is to find flexible people that are happy to do other things, and proactive people.
And I'd also say like a personality test is so important to understand if they're feelers, or analysts, and put those, those kind of people, as you said, people who are very empathetic in the front end. Okay, so I'm going to ask you a final question, which I think is probably in the minds of everybody listening now, which is, how can you make customer success, customer experience a profit center? What are you seeing the best in class e-commerce businesses putting in place to actually make money from customer experience, whether it's the pre-purchase or even the post-purchase?
And it's nice to have this question, because I think it's the most important question. Because when you talk about customer service, a lot of people consider is a cost center. And for sure, if you spend your life answering to questions about shipping status, cancellation, and refund, it's going to be a cost center. So to turn your customer service into a profit center, as again, segmentation. If you want to generate, to drive sales thanks to your customer service team, you need to know how to segment all your customer requests. This way you can decrease resolution time on all the very repetitive questions. And in addition to that, what is important is to be everywhere. So on social media, live chat, email, everywhere, phone as well, because I'm your client. I want to buy something on your website. I'm on your website. I like this product. So I'm going to check on Facebook or Instagram. I'm going to check your comments. If I see you are reactive with all your Facebook and Instagram comments, basically it's a good sign for me. And on the chat, if I have a question for you, but basically if you are reactive and proactive, if you give me some advice, basically I'm going to add my credit card in the next few minutes. So yes, to sum up, I think what is important is first segmentation, then automation.
Let's take a quick break to hear from our sponsors. Did you know that cloud-hosted e-commerce platforms like Shopify and BigCommerce do not provide automatic backups? Rewind steps in to protect Shopify and BigCommerce stores with automatic backups. Rewind is trusted by over 25,000 stores. Install Rewind and get to test it for free over 7 days. And to extend the 7-day trial to 30 days, head over to rewind.io, their website, and mention 2x eCommerce.
And also to find the good mix between automation and human relationship. It's not a good strategy to automate everything. For sure, it's interesting because basically, if I have a question about the shipping status, I just want to know where is my order. So basically, I want my answer now, and that's why at Gorgias, in a few days, we're gonna launch our chatbot self-service. This way, every time you're gonna have a question about where is my order, you just need to add your tracking link and you have your answer. But this way, you can spend much more time on creating human relationship with your clients and audience, and to show your audience that you are a wonderful brand.
Absolutely. I one just one more question, which is in regards to social media responses. Twitter has been a place where people complain about brands. Same thing with Facebook. So does your segmentation also sort of filter through all the posts coming from Twitter and through social media essentially, and pick out, cherry pick the sentiments from there to kind of like understand, okay, this is a customer request, or what does social channels look like with Gorgias, and in terms of like the filtering of so many messages come, because some messages will be like, wow, I love this brand, I'm just enjoying and that's not a customer, so that's not a customer experience request. But how do you sort of filter through all the, especially for very busy, active social brands?
So yes, it's interesting. But same with our machine learning, we can analyze the sentiments of the messages we receive, and this way we can split Facebook and Instagram comments between negative comments, positive comments, and questions. And it's important because everybody has a negative comments on social media, and what is important is to show everybody that you can be reactive and proactive with negative comments. Okay, you had a problem with your order. We are sorry for that. We are very sorry. But here is the option I can offer to you, blah, blah, blah. And this way, you show to everybody that you are proactive with your negative comments. And today, merchants spend a lot of money on Facebook and Instagram ads. So what is important now is to have a real strategy with your Facebook and Instagram comments, because every comment is an opportunity to improve or maintain the relationship with your clients and prospects.
So are you saying that like Gorgias is able to sort of scan through Facebook ads, and that's a big problem with Facebook, because lots of agencies are like, they go back to their customers and say, hey, these ads we just set up for you are getting negative comments. Can you ask your customer service people to take care of it? So you're saying that with Gorgias, those negative comments or negative sentiment driven comments on ads can be sent back to your Gorgias dashboard for your customer success team to respond to.
Exactly. Basically, we're gonna auto tag the negative comments. We're gonna be able to put all the negative comments in a section, and you can auto assign the negative comments to your community management team.
Awesome.
This way, directly from Gorgias, you can answer all these negative comments. And in addition to that, with Gorgias, we're going to be able to match the first name and the last name with Shopify. This way, same thing. If you're going to be able to have access to all the Shopify, Magento, BigCommerce information about these clients, and this way, it's an opportunity for you to show your client that you know him or her.
Awesome. One of the points I wanted to make was like when I was running my e-commerce business a few years ago, what we found was like chat was a way and the thing was like we added like Facebook Messenger, the Facebook Messenger chat on site. And what we found was like it was 50-50 from chat and email. and the chat people, especially for pre-sales, were very likely to purchase if we answered them promptly. And we realized by just having chat, it just made us there. It just made us, responsive, and we could. But what we're looking for at the time was a platform, right, that sort of gave us that allowed us click through to the profile of the person. So what happened with like Zendesk and the rest of them was like, when we're chatting with them, so they could integrate with the messenger, but the problem is that it was text-based. So sometimes you want to have some context of who am I speaking to with Facebook natively. So you click on the person's name, and then you get to their profile, and then you just get some information, some context about who you're talking to. And so like you said, there was no information on their orders, no integration with Shopify. We had no context as to who we're talking to when we were talking to these people on the help desk platform. So what we had to do was just use the native Facebook, which was a bit of a pain because it meant that we're juggling between two platforms, and it just wasn't the best for customer service. So it's just important. It's just an important point, and it's very, very interesting as to all the points you've raised.
Exactly, because same with the chat, we're going to be able to match the Shopify information with the chat, because basically it's a waste of time for you, because if every time you have a chat, you need to check in Shopify everywhere, if you have information about this client, it's going to be a waste of time.
Yeah.
And with the chat, you're going to receive sometimes hundreds and hundreds of customer requests every day. So you don't have time to do back and forth between Shopify and Gorgias every time you need to know something about these clients. So yes, what is important today for your clients, for your customer service team, is to have all the information in one single place. This way you just need to focus on creating the relationship with your clients.
Yeah, makes sense. Makes a lot of sense, Louis. Makes a lot of sense. That context. So what I'm seeing now, what I picked up from this conversation is context is important, personalization is important, segmentation is important, automation is important, but it needs a human feel, a human relationship. There's a point where your automation needs to hand over control to a human if it hasn't solved, a problem, and interesting, very, very interesting. Louis, I'd like to thank you so much for sharing, your nuggets and your wisdom on customer experience, customer service, and e-commerce. For those people who want to learn more, where are the best resources to follow, what you guys do, to follow you, Gorgias and the like?
So you can contact me with my email address, so louisl@gorgias.com. You can add me on LinkedIn, so Louis Lavedan, and we also have a Gorgias page on LinkedIn, etc. But don't hesitate to send me an email if you have any questions, and I will be very happy to come back to you.
Awesome. We'll link to all your contacts from the show notes. Just want to thank you again, and have a good one.
Bye.